definitely.
We're in London for Europe's premier high-stakes cash game. Tonight, 8 of the world's best will sit down with at least $100,000 of their own money in this no-limit Texas Hold'em poker game.
I love playing in big games.
The most exciting part about any cash game is the amount of money you can win.
A chance to, to show your skills that really matter is to be a winning poker player.
And with one of the strongest fields ever assembled, our stellar lineup are under pressure to perform in this, Europe's biggest televised cash game.
The reason why I want to play against these guys is because they are the best in the world.
I'm not intimidated by nobody at the table. Nobody intimidates me.
I feel like I have something to show them. It's just the nature of my blood.
I don't think you're going to ever find that tougher lineup.
This is the FullTiltPoker.com $1 million cash game.
Frenchman, well known in the poker world. He has one World Series of Poker bracelet. It's David Benjamin. Tom Dwan, or durrrr, he plays poker online in the highest stakes regularly against the best in the world. He has one World Series of Poker bracelet, one WPT title, and nearly $2 million in live tournament winnings. It's Elezra. Seat 4, the professor himself. It's Howard Lederer. His record speaks for itself. 8 World Series of Poker bracelets, 1 WPT title, and over $13 million in tournament winnings. It's Phil Ivey. Former model and tennis player, Patrick Antonius from Finland is always one of the most dangerous players in any game. Just 22 years old, Justin Boosted J. Smith has substantial success in high-stakes short-handed ring games. The famous, the Great Dane, but he's still one of the most dangerous players at the table. It's Gus Hansen. Welcome along to the FullTiltPoker.com $1 million cash game. 8 of the best, and when I say the best, I mean the best at this table.
1,200 straddle.
Once again, we have a $1,200 straddle. This time it's David Benjamin putting the 1,200 out, and Tom Dwan is next to act. Tom Dwan not wanting to play the weak ace in for early position.
Yeah, another tightish fold by Tom Dwan. He looks pretty happy just to be up this $250,000.
Dwan almost won his first World Series of Poker bracelet in the summer of 2010. Finished in second place in a $1,500 no-limit event.
That's a big field. I mean, there's probably a couple thousand runners in that.
Folds around to the big blind in Gus Hansen.
What did they do?
They developed a new
And you got big blind versus straddle. And Benjamin says, let him live, let's see a flop.
You get hit because something about this.
Interesting flop. Top pair and a gut shot for David Benjamin, and just a gut shot for Gus Hansen.
If Benjamin hits 2 pair, Gus will make it straight.
Well, a coach who cares more about
2,200.
I had a feeling we'd see Gus lead at this. Looks like it would fit his blind hand, but we're definitely going to see a call from Benjamin as well.
Pot now 7,900. Here's the turn.
Right, which is why it's good that it's
That might freeze things up a bit, though. That card's a little scary.
And Gus is going to fire another bullet.
6,600.
Kind of a tough call for David Benjamin.
I was going to say, is Gus making this play to try to get Benjamin to fold a 6 or a 10?
Yeah, a weak 10. But once again, Benjamin reaching for chips.
Cool.
Decides to make the call.
Here's the river.
Oh.
It's the 9, and that's going to give David Benjamin a straight. Fills up his gut shot. Gus Hansen makes a pair of 9s, but I don't know if he likes it.
Well, that gives him some showdown value now, so we probably see a check. But you never know with the Great Dane. He likes to mix it up, but I don't think we'll see any folding from Benjamin anymore, not with this straight.
Well, Gus might bet here, thinking that David's got a 10. Try to get him up a 10.
Definite scare card if you've got a 10, but not if you've got a 7 with it.
18,800.
What'll be interesting is if David flats or decides to re-raise.
Yeah, he is just going to flat call.
Cool.
The paired board out there. He's got far from the nuts.
I have a pair.
The 10 was good, the 7's good, either one of them's good.
Yeah, no good.
I think Gus Hansen knew he had a 10, was trying to get him off that, trying to represent that 7. Didn't work.
Yeah, the 7 was overkill, but it did make it a little easier to call that river.
Gus Hansen now down just about $23,000.
And he doesn't seem real worried about it.
No, easy come, easy go for the Great Dane.
1200 straddle.
Elezra having a very, very good day today. Has the button.
As much as he smiles, I think every day's a good day for Ellie.
And if you're just tuning in now and you're wondering what's going on with Gus Hansen's leg, he ripped his Achilles, which explains the boot on his left leg.
You mean that's not a fashion statement?
I hope not.
Cool.
8-9 of diamonds for Justin Smith here, who open raises. Oh, pardon me, it must have been a limp.
Yeah, he just limped in
under
there.
the gun.
Gus Hansen decides to limp in as well.
Cool.
Could start the avalanche effect, meaning when one person calls, start to see a lot of other callers.
Cool.
Dwan calls it deuces.
Cool.
Ellie in there at 10-7.
Cool. Cool.
Well, I was fixing to ask where the muck is, but David Benjamin sitting this out, but he's the only one. And Patrick Antonius.
Raise. 11,200 total.
The old squeeze.
Well, that's what it looks like. It looks like it could be a squeeze play, but he has ace-king. He's actually got a hand.
Yeah, squeezing with the best hand.
Justin Smith going to call. And that might bring a couple other players in. Dwan might stay in there as well. Now remember, Patrick Antonius is very deep, and so is Dwan. And that is going to bring in Dwan. I'm not sure if Dwan would have called if it was heads up, but Justin Smith's in there. He figures, you know what? Maybe now I'm getting the odds and the implied odds to make this call with the deuces.
I agree with your analysis. I don't think Dwan would have called that raise without another caller.
Action's on the professor. You wouldn't think this is much of a decision for him. Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, Howard Lederer only has 73,000 behind. He can't really call 11,000 of it off with Jack-8 suited. That's real speculative.
Of course, Justin
Here's
Smith.
the flop.
393.
9-3-3, couple of hearts. And Justin Smith, who came into this hand with the worst hand, now has the best of it at a 65% chance of winning the pot.
If I had like kings or something?
26,000.
But there's the continuation bet from Patrick Antonius. This can be the trouble with calling with 9-8. What do you do now?
Yeah, you're in a bad spot, especially if you double barrels. I mean, really tough spot.
If you're in there with 9-8 of diamonds, you really don't want just top pair. You want more than that, right?
Absolutely right.
And Justin Smith only has 108,000 behind, so he makes this call. Is he pretty much saying, yeah, I'm going with this hand?
I think if I decided to call here, I'm going with the hand.
Raise it here, wait till
Come on. All in.
Oh!
How much? It's like 100.
And there it is. Justin
this.
Smith decides to go with the hand. He moves all in.
I like that. This is a draw-heavy board with the two hearts out there. I like it a lot.
You figure it's either a fold or a push, right?
We can take the 26 first. That's the 26.
Ever helpful, Gus.
That's why I'm here. Just to help.
And it's $82,700 back to Antonius to call. He's getting a little bit more than 2-1 with ace-king.
Yeah, it's 3-1 dog, though. He's only getting 2-1.
He's a nice guy. I don't mind helping a nice guy. I call.
And he's going to call this ace-king against 9-8. And Antonius needs an ace or a king.
I'm really kind of surprised here. I think this might have been a factor of Patrick Antonius is stuck. I don't like that call at all.
10 of hearts, no heart in either hand. Here's the river. It's another 10.
Oh, and Justin Smith going to win a nice pot.
Yeah, both players with two pair. But Justin Smith's the bigger two pair, 10s and 9s. Beat 10s and 3s. I guess Justin Smith felt like gambling just a little bit. Hits top pair, shoves it all in there. A little while ago, he was down about 140,000. Now, he's down 2,900.
Down 2,900 after being stuck almost $150. That's a fantastic turnaround.
Patrick Antonius the Finnish superstar, is now down $204,000. No stranger to big swings. Routinely wins and loses hundreds of thousands of dollars. And this is just one of those days you might have to chalk up to be a loss. He's down $200,000.
1,200, struggle.
Elezra, though, having a fantastic day.
Like billionth hand things or whatever. Like, usually it's like 50K or something. It's like 25 to the guy who wins it and a few K to the others. And you know, almost without fail.
Raise 4,300.
Patrick Antonius is actually raising from the small blind. The straddler was Gus Hansen.
The last one I think was $57 or something, and I got just folded with his like $170 stack. You know, when he's getting 5K.
Gus, let's see if he wants to play this one. He's got 4-5.
Well, that's within his hand range. He doesn't mind with position playing those kind of hands.
Cool.
We haven't seen him call too much, but this time he does. We've seen a lot of 3-bets from him.
The winner of that hand gets like 25K.
Both players get a piece of it. Patrick Antonius with second pair, Gus Hansen with bottom pair. Pot just under $10,000.
They don't know because they don't get the equity like they just know.
Patrick Antonius leads at this pot, and I don't blame him.
Yeah.
9,000.
I like that lead.
Well, he was the pre-flop aggressor, and he's hit a pair.
Well, it's a tough spot for Gus Hansen here. If he calls, there's not many turn cards he likes. He might just give this up.
Yeah, there aren't many turn cards he likes that aren't a 5 or a 4. Pot 18-8. It's 9 to call.
Once and two
But,
sets
you know,
of
there's way more in low stakes tables.
So how do you get to... Gus Hansen decides to raise instead.
Wow. The tricky Dane. I don't think Patrick Antonius can make this call. It's such a coordinated board. There's just way too many hands that Gus Hansen could have that fit this flop.
Although at the same time, if Antonius puts Gus Hansen on a draw, like diamond draw or a straight draw, he might think his pair of 8s is good and push. On top of the fact that Patrick Antonius is down $200,000.
That
might be getting a little emotional.
That could be a factor.
It's a strange raise by Gus Hansen, though. When he's got a pair, his hand actually has some showdown value.
Yeah, but really that's a scary board. 2 diamonds, 3 to a straight already out there.
Yep.
I like representing this hand. It's very believable that it's in his hand range.
How many black chips do you have?
Not that everyone else. But
No, none.
None.
I got
You know, like those card runners.
Gus only with 66,500 behind. Patrick wants to know how much he has behind. Pot 45,400. And it's 17-6 back to Antonius.
This would be a really impressive call from Antonius. Just so many cards that could come on the turn where you have to muck this hand.
Now, if you're Antonius, can you just call this, or do you push? I mean, is it a push or fold type play?
I hate a push here.
Okay.
I really hate the push.
Cool.
And it looks like he makes the call.
That's why we bring you in here. Antonius makes the call. Pot now 63,000.
Ace.
If Gus Hansen had an ace-high flush draw, he's now got a pair of aces.
But I do think Patrick Antonius checks will see a check from behind.
125,000.
125K. Wow, what a massive overbet.
Antonius is almost making it look like he's trying to buy this pot.
He's got middle pair, and it turns out it's good, but Gus Hansen's only got 66,000 left.
But if Gus Hansen puts Patrick on diamonds... No, he's going to give it up. I was going to say...
And what a great lead out by Patrick Antonius.
Yeah, it was a tough spot there. I thought for a second, if Gus put Patrick on diamonds or a straight draw, he might call. But he sniffed it out. Nice play by Gus Hansen. Nice laydown.
I wonder what the gap is in terms of high-stakes hands, in terms of live hands played between Doyle and the next guy. I mean, this would be dating back to the 40s where he's playing like No Limit Hold'em in like Texas in the biggest games there.
The next
just total number of hands.
The next most would be like Chip Reese, probably.
I don't know about Chip.
I don't know how much he grinded or
maybe.
We are playing with a straddle, and that's 1,200, so it's 1,200 to play.
What about Johnny Moss?
Maybe it was, maybe Moss. Yeah, Moss might have played more than Doyle.
Didn't he play like Epic Sessions?
Moss might have played more than Doyle in his life, actually, and he was playing till he was in his 80s.
What's that down there?
It's a limp.
Cool. Yeah, Justin Smith's going to limp in from the button. He's 6'4" suited.
Cool.
Gus Hansen is going to complete in the small blind.
Gus Hansen playing his hand rather tricky.
Yeah. Oh, wow. David Benjamin picks up a big hand. He's going to raise this up.
11,200.
Decision time for Tom Dwan. He's going to give this one up. And it's a pretty tight laydown for Tom Dwan. He laid down king-queen there.
So you have 100?
Elezra also with a queen. He's got queen 9. This raise, though, from David Benjamin up to 11,200.
None more big blinds. Like that.
Difficult spot for everybody else to call.
Can't call one time, really?
Justin Smith's going to fold.
You tell me, yeah?
Well, he's thinking about it.
$67.
Okay.
All in a call.
I mean, insta call from David Benjamin. Wow. That's like a $100,000 call.
Pair is good.
Huh? Pair is good.
I don't have it.
Ace queen is good.
Ace queen, ace king.
Ace queen is good. Ace king is better. Maybe.
Oh, he's suited though.
Can I do?
I have about 28%.
28. Now you're up to 43.
No, I probably like 57.
He just announced he was his favorite.
And once again, 2 players in the red willing to gamble.
I'm going out on a limb.
Oh,
tie, baby.
David Benjamin, now he's got some ties. He can get you a 5 and split this pot.
Here's the river. Oh, it's a 6 of clubs.
Close to that 5.
And Gus Hansen, by playing the ace-king a little bit tricky, limping in from the small blind, he sets the trap, and David Benjamin falls into it.
And he gets him a nice double up.
Gus Hansen now up to 135,000.
67-2.
Yeah, Benjamin not having a great day or a great week. He is down $164,000.
And he doesn't look too happy about it either, I'll have to say.
Things are picking up. It's crazy here at the FullTiltPoker.com $1 Million Cash Game. Gus Hansen now in the black, up $35,000.
1,200 Shadow.
It's funny you said he's in the black. I look up and I see Howard Lederer wearing black.
And how about 2 black aces for Howard Lederer? Howard Lederer in the red. He's down 28,000, but if things go his way on this hand, he will win. The problem is Lederer doesn't play any hands.
Yeah.
So I don't know if anybody's going to play with him here.
Hard to get paid.
If you don't give action, you don't get action, right?
How many block chips you have, Howard? 2?
2. Very true. Haven't had that problem myself, unfortunately.
Well, Lederer sets the trap. Lederer limps in with the aces.
Raise. 5,300.
There's the raise from Justin Smith with 9-5 of spades.
Let's see how tricky Howard's willing to play this. I don't know. I think I'd probably go ahead and re-raise right here.
Problem is if Lederer re-raises, kind of narrows his range, doesn't it? He pretty much tells the table what he has.
I don't think it narrows it that far. I do think it narrows it, absolutely. If you raise it, especially something around a min raise, Boosted J, otherwise known as Justin Smith, almost has to call. That's why I like it.
15,000.
That's a little too much.
He blows his Boosted J out of the water.
He let him off the hook there.
Yeah, never underestimate his sneakiness.
Yeah, I think Howard Lederer definitely let him off the hook there. And Lederer now up to 81,000. But he is still in the red. Howard Lederer down $19,000. Patrick Antonius and David Benjamin down a combined $334,000. Dwan, Ellie, and Ivey each up over $200,000. So no Justin Smith and no Howard Lederer. And we bring in Mike the Mouth and Andrew Feldman again. How does that change the dynamic of the table?
Well, first of all, Andrew Feldman gets out there on some limbs. He floats, he 3-bets light.
Raised 3,500 pass.
Mike the Mouth, that's like a substitute just straight up for Howard. I mean, Howard was playing tight and straightforward. That's what Mike's going to play. Andrew Feldman, I think, is a better spot for the game, you know, as far as the game itself than Justin is.
Tom Dwan folding ace-9 on the button.
Wow. he's got that 239,000 win locked up.
Ivey going to call, Antonius going to call. And we'll see this flop 3 ways.
Gotta like the door card. Open and straight for Patrick Antonius.
Check. Check.
Bottom set for Andrew Feldman, and maybe that's what Tom Dwan knew. Tom Dwan knew he would hit top pair, but he knew that his opponent would hit bottom set.
Check.
And it checks around. Feldman's going to slow play it.
Jack. Check or bet. Check.
Well, he better not slow play it too much. There's 2 straight draws now. The king-queen needs a 10, and the 3-5 needs a deuce or a 7. Can't be given too many free cards.
8,000.
Well, he set a little bit of a trap. He wanted to give his opponents a little bit of rope to hang themselves. And he's got Antonius at least betting his open-ended straight draw.
I got a feeling he'll definitely put in a raise here.
Very interesting pot here. Andrew Feldman has 182,000. Both of his opponents have him covered. Ivey needs a 10 to make Broadway. I don't think Ivey's going to be around, though.
No, I don't
But
either.
Antonius is open-ended. He can catch a deuce or 7 to hit the straight.
23. 23.
23. 23 in total.
It checked around on the flop. Now Ivey's folding. Now, the one thing that's interesting, if Antonius knows what his opponent has, you're going to call this every single time, right? Because if you hit, you're going to win a monster pot.
Big payoff. Absolutely. I think even if he doesn't know what he's got, I think he almost has to call here, believe it or not. 15,000. He's going to get almost 3-1 on his money, and then the implied odds too. I think he's got a call coming here.
I mean, I guess the point is, you know, if Feldman just has a king-jack here, you're not going to make any more out of this if you call.
Well, that actually may make Patrick Antonius play this a little different. If he really thinks that Andrew Feldman's weak here, he could actually raise.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole point. I mean, I think we know Patrick, in all likelihood, is going to play this hand. It's just a matter of, does he raise or just call?
Call.
He's going to call. Needs a deuce or 7, and it is party time for the Finn. Oh,
6.
not a deuce or a 7.
Golly. When it first rolled off, I thought for sure it was a 7. Well, Patrick Antonius can't win this pot unless he bluffs at it. Obviously, we know he can't win it, period, because Andrew Feldman has a full house. But does Antonius fire a bluff at this? He has no showdown value with 5 high.
I mean, he can barely beat the board. He's got a pair of 6s, ace, jack, 5.
I'm telling you, I think he's going to fire a bluff at this.
Bet.
Well, he is going to fire a bluff. It's not going to work, obviously, because Feldman's got a full house. 4's full of 6s.
16,000.
And Patrick Antonius puts out kind of a smallish bet. It almost smells like a little value bet.
It feels exactly like a value bet.
What does Feldman do with it?
If you're Feldman, you have to raise. In case Patrick Antonius has a 6, you've got to take a chance that your full house is good. But if Patrick Antonius has a 6, you might win a big pot here.
No, obviously Feldman's going to raise, but how much is to raise? What does he play? What's the best way to get the money out of him?
Believe it
He's
or
got
not,
a full house.
I think Feldman's considering just calling right now. I know that sounds strange, but he's so confused. He looks like he doesn't know where he's at in this hand. I wouldn't be surprised if he just calls. If I have this hand, I like to raise it about 50 more.
Cool.
And he does just call. And here's the dancing donkey. What a rib from Mike Matusow. Surprised somebody hasn't burnt that donkey down.
Blinds, please.
I never win a pot. I can only have fun.
You bet 50, you get it.
He wins 100,000 a point in Chinese every 5 minutes anyway, so
I bet 50,000.
it's like losing $10.
I thought you could have A6.
I guess I should have bet 50,000.
I actually didn't like that river.
Straddle's on for 12.
No, you can't like that too much.
No. How can I like the river?
No. It turns you from 100% to 99.999.
1,200 to play.
Yeah, you were getting called if you raised the river. That guy who didn't have a pair.
And when these players refer to Chinese poker, it's just another form of poker.
Absolutely. It's
you've got
13-card poker.
Raised to 2,400.
He gets a bad call.
It depends. It doesn't sound like you were winning anymore.
What's the point in raising?
Good read.
There's so many different variations of poker, whether you're playing stud, hold'em, PLO, of course, pot limit Omaha, or Chinese poker. All great games in their own right.
He had 7-5 in his hand. How much more do you think he was going to get?
4. 2-4 in total.
Gus Hansen puts this this min raise out there, this straddle from Andrew Feldman. He puts out this 2,400. Benjamin's going to call. Dwan calls. Mikey calls.
2-4 total. 12 more.
When one person calls, start to see a lot of other callers.
Andrew calls.
How do you flop those sets?
I flopped 2 sets.
Two more than me.
It's 2 more than I made a pair of.
We have 5 players in the pot, 2 players not in the pot.
7-6 Trey.
Can you guess which 2 players are not in the pot?
Phil Ivey and Patrick Antonius?
Yeah, seriously.
It seems impossible.
It's a very interesting flop. It's a good flop from Feldman in a way. He's flopped top pair with a gut shot. Unfortunately for him, he is behind the snowmen of Benjamin.
Hard for him to know that he's behind right now.
Hansen with bottom pair and backdoor diamonds.
Bet 8,200.
The one thing about Feldman's hand is if he is behind, he's got a lot of outs. Remember, he can catch a 7, a 5, a 4.
He might be a little afraid to catch the 5, but it would be good as it turns out.
Well, this is going to thin the field out a lot.
8,200.
And David Benjamin with the overpair here.
Not really a very draw-heavy board. You got the gut shots there and everything, and I suppose 8-9 is a straight draw, but since Benjamin's got 2-8, it's very unlikely somebody else would have 8-9.
I wouldn't blame Benjamin for pushing all in right here. He's only got 46 more.
How much is it to me?
8,200.
That's all?
How much you start with, David?
I have 32.5, 36.7 more.
Benjamin is, since he's only got 46, he's willing to gamble it a little bit. He wants to win it all.
6.
And that was not a great card for Andrew Feldman. Now, if he makes 2 pair, it couldn't help.
Check. Check.
I think there's a chance Benjamin might double up here.
Queen. Check or bet? Check.
Feldman going to check one more time over to Benjamin. Well, Frenchman's got to bet this, doesn't he?
Has to bet
Get
this
the
for
value. Come on, your opponent has a 7.
Matter of fact, I probably shove right here to really let him think I might be bluffing.
There are a lot of hands he could have. Remember, Feldman doesn't know. Benjamin could have 8-9. He could have 8-5. He could have something like 4-3. Who knows?
Yeah, it's probably payoff mode for Andrew Feldman if Benjamin does bet.
And the problem is Feldman's kicker doesn't play anymore. He has 2 pair, 7s and 6s, and a queen kicker.
I'm all in.
I'm not that person.
All in?
And he does push all in. I think he's calling any bet smaller than all in, but I still don't mind the all in. Give Andrew Feldman a chance to really pay you off.
Come on, Robert, stand your ground. He just said he should go all in. The guy goes all in, and now you're questioning it?
Because I saw the reaction on Andrew Feldman's face. It
Oh,
doesn't look like he wants to call.
Of course he doesn't want to call. He's only got 2 pair. He can only beat a bluff right now.
Well, it looks like a bluff the way he went all in there. That's why I do favor that.
Doesn't feel like a bluff.
37,
38.
38, 4.
38,400.
And this is Feldman's issue. Last hand, he flops a set, he rivers a full house, and he wins kind of a smallish pot. Here, he's got a marginal hand, 7s and 6s with a queen kicker. His 5 doesn't even play, and he could lose a huge pot.
Yeah, agreed.
You can't win small pots with your monsters and then lose big ones with your marginal ones and be a successful poker player. Not what you can be, but not against this competition.
Yep, too tough of a lineup to give any kind of spot away at all. You know, I wonder if his kicker not playing now has really got Andrew concerned, or the queen might actually help him. He may make him call because now he's got a higher kicker. Maybe he was worried about his kicker before.
Yeah, Benjamin's not betting 8-7 here, is he?
He might, especially with the queen on the board now.
Andrew Feldman put to the test once again.
All I know is I'm probably paying off here myself.
Can be 8-9. 8-9. 8-5.
I don't know how Andrew can get away from this.
Just to recap the action, and I think the reason why Feldman's confused is it went check, check on the turn. Feldman led out on the flop. Benjamin called. Everybody else folded. Then it went check, check. And now it goes check. Benjamin's all in for his last 38,000.
I think he might muck this.
It does look like he's going to fold this. You can only beat a bluff.
Guess you got 6 balls. 6, 5. Pocket sixes. Fold.
And
nice laydown by Andrew Feldman.
Does lay this down. Wow, that's actually a big time laydown.
Yeah, nice laydown by Feldman.
$600 to play.
We just say goodbye to Elezra, who had one heck of $1 million cash game, won over $200,000.
Call.
He not only played good, he ran pretty good too. A couple of times he got away from hands because the cards helped him out. But he did play very well.
He ran good, he played good, and he's got a great smile and a great guy.
Cool. Like 10-20
600.
No straddle this time.
Bunch of limpers.
And it is a bunch of limpers.
Well, it could start the avalanche effect, meaning when one person calls, start to see a lot of other callers.
He got me literally 3 to 4 months or whatever.
So he's got no chance. He hit and runs like winning, and then when he's stuck, he goes.
Gus Hansen with Queen 9.
Is this our first family pot of the cash game?
It could be. What exactly is a family pot?
It means every player is in the hand.
King, king, deuce.
This is interesting. Wow. Hold on a second.
Check.
King, king, deuce.
Check.
We have 2 players
Check.
with trip kings. Antonius
Check.
with trip kings. Ivey with trip kings.
Bet 3,000.
Antonius is trip kings with a jack kicker, dominating Ivey.
Cool.
And Benjamin with the flush draw as well. We might see some action from him in this flop.
I'm not one of them.
Pass. Pass.
This is an action flop, to say the least.
Call.
Well, Benjamin's not stupid. He knows a paired board. He's not going to play a flush draw that strong, is he?
No, but I knew he would at least see this turn card. Oh, wow. What a card for Benjamin's hand.
Look at this. Benjamin
Check.
has the flush on the turn.
Check.
Other than that, no.
Ivey and Antonius with trip kings. Ivey in terrible shape. He needs a 7 to win it, a deuce or a 4 to tie. Antonius needs a jack to win, or a deuce and a 4.
Bet 10,000.
I don't blame Patrick Antonius. It has to feel like he's got the best hand, but the only thing that's suspicious about this is he's got 2 callers. There's only one other king left in the deck. So I don't know if I'm Patrick Antonius if I bet there or not.
Cool.
You start looking at that board and you start thinking, okay, well, one of my opponents has to have a king, and the other one might have diamonds.
Yeah, that's what it feels like to me.
Now, normally I wouldn't put one of my opponents on king, deuce, or king 4, but this pot was limped. There's only 600 to play. So king, deuce suited, king 4 suited, those are the kind of hands somebody might be in there with.
Cool.
Well,
call.
Go to the river.
Yeah, this pot, 44,000. Here's the river.
5.
5 of diamonds. That's going to be an action killer.
I was going to say that's going to crush the action because now there's 4 to a flush on the board.
Well, Patrick and Phil, they dodged the bullet on that one.
Check.
For me, not for them.
You know, Benjamin at the same time now, I mean, obviously he's got the winner, but at the same time, you know, he can't beat a full house and he can't beat an ace of diamonds.
Wow, I think
Bet 40,000.
Phil Ivey's plowing into this.
Think about the way the hand was played. If you're Benjamin, you go, okay, well, maybe one of my opponents has a king. Is there a chance the other one's got an ace of diamonds?
Exactly the hand I believe Phil Ivey's trying to represent.
You've also got to imagine there's a chance that Ivey's got a full house here.
Absolutely. Could be 2's full. I mean, that's the other consideration.
I mean, a lot of people at home are watching this going, wow, got the queen high flush. Well, it's actually a king high flush, but he's got a queen in his hand. Benjamin can raise this. There's no way he raises this.
And Patrick Antonius already folded.
It's an easy fold for Antonius. But if you're Benjamin,
it's a tough call.
Yeah.
It really is.
When it's only a 1 card to a flush, if you don't have the nuts, it's a tough spot.
Absolutely. Especially the way Phil Ivey not doing a thing until the 4th diamond came. I mean, it feels like he has the ace of diamonds. If I didn't know better, I would have thought he had ace of diamonds.
Yeah, he could also be in there. I mean, look, he's got king 7. Would it really be shocking if he turned over king 4?
Actually, no, it wouldn't be. On a limped pot, yeah, I think he is going to play a king 4 suited.
Well, obviously, as he played a king 7. What's
suited.
the difference between king 5 and king 4 and king 7? There's no difference at all.
Not much at all.
And Benjamin knows that. Benjamin has a lot of experience with Ivey.
I wouldn't be surprised if Benjamin lays his hand down.
There's no bluff in this spot. I don't see how you can possibly be bluffing.
It's a tough spot, tough decision for David Benjamin.
I don't see how. I just can't believe you would hit the 5.
David Benjamin trying to make sense of this hand.
Such a fickle game, poker is. He looks at the flop, he goes, oh, sort of like the flop. Looks at the turn, he goes, oh, wow, I love the turn. And the river comes out. Ugh.
Don't think you're going to get a read on Phil Ivey.
No, Ivey gives him nothing.
Wow, that's power poker. He had the third best hand and ends up taking down the pot.
I guarantee they're both the same card.
Bet.
Really?
How much?
I mean, not the suit, but I'm gonna
Bet. Bet.
I bet 1,000.
Okay. Bet. They only show one. Too late now. All right, we have a bet. We have a bet though. Okay.
Stiff you.
Huh?
Stiff you.
Want to stiff me? Won't be the first time.
Patrick, you called the turn all in?
You're all in. I don't know. I made a bad bet. I didn't realize you had.
Obviously.
I didn't realize you had that much money.
Welcome along to the FullTiltPoker.com $1 Million Cash Game.
I think I had the best time, but I
had Queen 9 of diamonds.
Huh?
I had Queen flush. I should have just raised in, probably.
Benjamin was convinced that Phil Ivey either had a bigger flush or a full house as well.
Our fault.
Nonetheless, Phil Ivey shows the table how it's done. Power poker, exactly what you said.
And he turned that made hand into a bluffing hand, actually.
Made hand? No, he had the third best hand. He couldn't even beat Patrick's hand.
I know.
He had no business winning that pot at all.
And you only had the queen flush? You should. You should fold the turn, I think.
I don't know what was worse, his bet on the turn or Donkey's call on the turn. Either way, it's no wonder why you win all the money in poker, Phil. They play so bad.
Just don't understand what can he possibly hit on the river. I just don't get it.
2,000.
King 5. He was ready to show his cards, so that's not the King 5.
Let's move on. Move on in life. It's not a big deal. If he bluffed or not, it's not a big deal.
I don't think he bluffed.
No, he definitely didn't bluff. Now I bet
There's
another
like no room
1,000.
for bluff there.
Another
Just
1,000.
wonder what he got.
Billy definitely didn't bluff. You owe me 2.
Woo! I just lost 2,000. Wow, you are that good.
I don't think he bluffed. I mean, it's like so hard to bluff there.
I can tell you what I had. I can tell you one of my cards.
It doesn't really matter. I did
But I
choose
can
whether
tell
I
you one
move
of
in
my
or
cards.
not. On the turn.
I'm curious.
I'm just so surprised Patrick bets 10 there.
One of my cards was the King of Hearts.
Cool.
Let's move on.
I just
Ace, King, Queen.
King, Queen, 8, 2 spades out there. Andrew Feldman has to like this one. He's got the nut flush draw. Not only is he nut flush draw, but he's ahead of Hansen. And Hansen's Ace 7.
I never flop anything, so you can know because I never in a hand.
11,100.
Well, you know Feldman's not going to fold. The only question is, does Feldman just call this, or is he going to raise?
Think just call to control the size of this pot.
And the stacks are a little tricky because Hansen's bet 11,000. If Feldman raises, he's not going to be able to get away from the hand if Hansen pushes.
Yeah, that's the problem with raising here. That's why we'll probably see just a flat call from Andrew Feldman.
And sometimes you don't mind if you push there with if you have 2 overs and spades, but in this case, he's only got 1 over.
Raise
No, he's going to raise anyway.
to 29,600.
Wow.
29-6, and I'm too cool Feldman fires the raise.
Well played by Andrew Feldman there.
Yeah, I like it. Strong semi-bluff from Andrew Feldman. I was going to say, didn't know if he wanted to commit himself to this pot, but he figured his equity was pretty high there. Makes the nice push, gives a good aggressive play. And you know what? He's only down $10,000.
I bet he'll be happy as a lark to be stuck only $10,000 after being stuck $150.
600 to play.
No straddle here. Tom Dwan has stepped away from the table right now, so we're 6-handed just for a second. Benjamin in the small blind, Mike the Mouth in the big blind, Ivey to speak with the 10-8 of diamonds. That smells like a $2,000 raise. Let's see how it plays out.
Raise to 2,000.
Yeah, so.
Pass.
Sure, bet 20.
2,000 total.
Interesting. Gus Hansen with a somewhat similar hand to Phil Ivey's.
Yeah, those
Check.
hands are very connected.
Raise to 6,600.
It's a lot of flops that fit these two hands where we could see some really good action.
The only question is, are we going to see a flop? Gus Hansen is 3-bet this. Benjamin not going to call it the ace-10.
Cool.
Matusow not going to call it the ace-9.
I feel like it doesn't fold too many of the 3-bets.
Jack, Jack 9.
Oh, what a flop for Gus Hansen.
Jack.
And you just said it. You said these cards are kind of interconnected, and they are. Phil Ivey has an open-ended straight draw on this one, but he's drawing dead.
I can tell you this much. If Gus Hansen gives a free card here and it comes Phil Ivey straight on the turn, could be bad for Phil.
Gus Hansen flops the top full house. He has the absolute nuts right now.
Bet 9,100.
Can't see Phil Ivey not at least calling here.
Well, if you're going to call a raise pre-flop with 10-8 and then you flop an open in the straight draw.
That's what you were calling to catch in the first place. Of course, the paired board and the 2 spades might keep him from coming.
Cool.
Ivey calls, pot now 32,900.
A 7 or queen, and we can see some fireworks. Oh my gosh! The queen on the turn.
Bet 25,000.
Let's see if Houdini can get out of this trap.
I prefer a flat call here.
Hansen only has 99,000 behind.
He could easily shove here as well, but I prefer, just like Gus Hansen did, let Phil hang himself. Oh, the roux is over.
Talk about an action killer on the river.
Well, all that said, Phil Ivey might try to represent some of this, but I don't think so.
Ivey bet 25,000, Hansen called.
Now Gus is going, why didn't I shove the turn? It's actually kind of a tough spot for Gus. Does he try to value bet this? I think he turns it over. Phil led when the first queen came. He could have easily have had a queen in his hand. Maybe like a queen 10, kind of open and straight on the flop. I think that's what Gus is thinking too.
Would Phil check a queen here?
I think he would.
Bets.
And Gus bets.
This is purely a value bet.
I feel a little bit deprived. I wanted to see if Houdini could get out of the trap.
44,000 is the bet.
All I can tell you is Phil's glad he didn't have to pull a Houdini.
Yeah, the river let him off here. And Ivey should be able to get away from this one now. It's kind of a smallish bet, though. It's a $44,000 bet. Pot is $127,000.
Yeah, he bet about half the pot.
Hansen obviously wanting a call right now.
Phil Ivey wants to call so bad.
The funny thing is, if Hansen is really, really deep, he might not bet there in fear of a check raise.
I agree.
But Hansen only has 30,000 behind, so. Is there any way Gus could have had a big draw, something like
spade draw?
A spade draw with a 10, maybe even.
Absolutely. There's a lot of hands Gus could have within his range.
And he makes the
Phil Ivey can beat.
Yeah, well, he makes the continuation bet with any 2.
44.
Now Ivey bets and Hansen just calls on the turn. And when Hansen calls, there's a chance, right?
Certainly is.
I mean, something like ace-10 of spades.
Yep, ace-10 of spades, perfectly reasonable. Ace-king of spades, possible.
I mean, I was even thinking maybe a 2-way draw on the turn that Hansen had picked up.
Phil Ivey's not wanting to give it up.
Cool.
And he doesn't. He calls, and Gus Hansen going to win a nice pot. Still think, overall, Phil Ivey saved $30,000.
Gus Hansen now up $101,000. And he's been playing it pretty close to the vest until that one. Great spot for him. And Phil Ivey takes quite the hit. Still up $132,000 in this series. Hansen right behind him. And our big losers, David Benjamin and Patrick Antonius, down a combined $366. But take a look at Andrew Feldman. We've been harsh on him, but he's crawling his way back. He's only down $10,000. The fans on the edge of their seats. It's interesting. Some people say poker's not a spectator sport. I disagree. It can be very exciting.
Extremely exciting.
Especially when you start talking about $200,000, $300,000 pots.
Raise 2,000.
Feldman picks up the aces.
How much I made?
$350.
That's all I made?
I made more from David. I made.
I think he's too deep to play this too tricky. I think he has to re-raise pre-flop here.
Phil Ivey's raised it to 2,000 with Jack 10.
Raise 6,800.
Well, the thing is, you don't actually mind 3-betting Phil Ivey because Phil Ivey almost always will call that 3-bet.
That's exactly right. And you don't have 4 or 5 callers pre-flop. You want to isolate one. You want 1 or 2. You don't want a bunch of callers.
He's not going to get a bunch of callers. Dwan's got ace-9 of spades.
He might get frisky with the ace-9 of spades. He hasn't been. He's been folding a lot of aces.
Knowing Dwan, he'd almost rather be in there with like a 6-9 of spades than ace-9. He knows there's a chance that he can be dominated. He might be making one of his classic 4-bet moves, though, here. And if he does, that's going to bail Phil Ivey out.
If he flats, Phil Ivey's really probably calling. I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think he's reaching for more chips.
I don't think he flats here. That's
Look
what I
at
thought.
this.
That's what it looked like to me.
Now, this is interesting.
Not my big line.
20,100.
Does Andrew Feldman, I'd say there's enough money in the pot already. He's got to re-raise. But
Yeah, you know what?
Could be tricky.
You know what? You're the pro, but that's what's great about poker. Good players disagree all the time, and I disagree with you wholeheartedly.
They're both so deep.
Yeah, I honestly believe Feldman should just call this, though. If he 5-bets,
could win a really big pot that way. That's true.
You're in position. You've got the aces. You got the bullets. Come on, give your opponent enough rope to hang himself.
Tom Dwan's a pretty tricky opponent, though. Giving him a chance to outplay you on future streets.
Dwan, 300,000. Feldman, 250. Feldman looks a little nervous.
He does.
Maybe part act, but at the same time, it is nervous. He realizes that his stack could be at risk.
And a
Not
deep
yet.
stack.
What's the whole point? Look at that stare from Dwan.
$53,600.
And Feldman re-raises. And this hand's got to be over, doesn't it?
I don't see how Dwan can do anything but muck now. He can't hardly play back. Not with ace-9.
Unless you're a really, really tricky player. When you 5-bet, you're pretty much turning your hand face up.
Well, one of 2 or 3 hands. Yeah. Aces, kings, maybe ace-king, but maybe queens. You're
Dwan's
right.
not going to get involved with ace-9 of spades now, though.
He's taken an awful long time for someone that's just going to fold.
Well, he's got to Hollywood it a little bit. He's got to, he's got to save face. Remember, he just made a big 4-bet.
So you're saying basically to keep Andrew from doing this next time.
Yeah.
This is the dramatic pause. We see that a lot.
And, they'll talk about this one on the internet. They'll talk about this one on the forums. I mean, obviously I can see the cards, but I still think heads up once Ivey folds and you're in position. I don't see any reason why Feldman doesn't smooth call. I know you and I disagree on that. That's what's great about poker.
Yeah, and there
you
is
can disagree.
More than one way that's correct. There's probably correct to do either one of them, but the stack sizes are just too deep not to 5-bet there.
I mean, there's still room for Dwan to make a 6-bet.
I think that's what he's considering here.
The great thing is, if Dwan were to 6-bet here, now we can see the cards, but if Dwan were to 6-bet here, Feldman would probably only call with aces, maybe kings.
That's true.
I just don't know. Yeah, now Dwan gives it up. He thought about it, though. He thought about it.
He really did. I think he was serious.
Well, the fact that we're on TV, I don't want to get showed up on TV. Maybe I can outplay this kid.
Well, plus he's a pretty good winner, too. It's over 200,000 winner. Why surrender that profit?
Well, Andrew Feldman climbs out of the hole. And now he's in the black. He's up $24,000. Tom Dwan still our big winner. He's up over $200,000. Phil Ivey up $150,000. Our big loser at this table, Patrick Antonius, down nearly $250,000.
Close? Probably not, but I'm going to try and
Takes, what, a year or something, right?
If it come down.
Huh?
If it come down a mile.
I'm coming.
Well, 1 ace. It's a good start for Gus. Not quite what you want in the second card, though.
Yeah, not the best finish on that hand.
I know ace-7 offsuit is a pretty mediocre hand in a full ring game. 7-handed?
Gus is playing pretty tight. He folded that ace-7 there.
1,800.
This is the new improved Great Dane.
Yeah.
David Benjamin raises it at king-7 of clubs.
Cool. Only if I can trick it. It might have
Ivey calls.
flaws in
That's why.
Here's a question for you.
But if I just
Feldman, KB ace. It's one of those odd times where king-7 actually might be a favorite because 3 players have aces So the likelihood is an ace is not going to fall.
Is there an edge playing on the computer?
Ace. Yeah, of course. The likelihood is that ace won't fall, and then what happens? Comes out ace 10 deuce. But Benjamin has picked up a flush draw.
And no deeper than Benjamin is right now. I can't believe this flop went check, check. Well, that gives him a gut shot straight draw as well. A queen for a straight. Wow, check and check. I can't believe how small this pot is. 2 pair for Phil Ivey. Flush for David Benjamin. I think we're going to see some fireworks now.
Right.
I mean, you can use it a little
6,000.
bit, but if you do it too
Big
much,
bet.
then people will know it.
Cool. And just a call?
Pretty sure I'm not flush.
Pretty sure?
I don't know why I even called. I had 2 pair. I don't know why I even called you. How about that?
2 pair?
Ace is up.
Ace 5.
I should just fold it.
Because you're thinking about
God, I'm so bad.
5,000 a point.
Well, even Phil Ivey makes mistakes.
Cool. I can't believe he actually said he had 2 pair and he almost folded. I mean, to 1 bet. Wow.
Well, the way he played the hand, he just played it so small.
Cool.
What am I going to let my opponent get there and then pay him off? It's a big surprise. I mean, both players flop something. Nobody puts any money in the pot. The river is the ultimate action card.
Cool.
And Benjamin doesn't really make any money out of it. And it's odd, when we were straddling before, compared to that, it almost seems like we're playing small again. You've got to remind yourself that we're playing 300, 600 blinds. The pot is $4,000, and we haven't seen a flop yet.
There comes another internet genius.
Who's that?
Raise.
Andrew Feldman.
6,400.
Making a play for this pot.
The internet genius raise here.
Oh! I thought you meant someone was coming in.
And you know why he's making a play at the spot? He wants everybody to fold so he can show it. Come on.
I don't think he's going to show.
Yeah, he is. Of course he's going to show.
You were right.
Plus, there's another internet genius. The old Mike would have just back popped it, but he's got no heart no more. But he's going to get it back soon. I'm going to go to the Phil Ivey School of Heart. I know he charges like about $10,000 an hour. I'm going to man up and pay it.
Welcome back to the FullTiltPoker.com $1 Million Cash Game.
Raise 2,000.
Patrick raises, makes it 2,000 with the ace-9 offsuit. Andrew Feldman tempted to do it again. He just raised with 7 deuce, and you know you want it to do it again. This time he picks a better spot. He's going to throw it away, and good for him because Gus Hansen wakes up with the ladies. And Gus Hansen, notoriously good with the ladies.
Raise. 7,700.
Has raised it up, and wow!
Oh,
Benjamin wakes up with the kings.
Well, last time this happened, Benjamin had the worst of it with the kings.
So if Benjamin does not get tricky, if Benjamin raises it here, it's all going in. There's no way it's not.
I would agree. I don't see how Gus could get away from that hand.
Well, Hansen is so aggressive pre-flop. He's not going to let it. He's not. The ladies are good to him.
Well, it's kind of an awkward stack size here for Benjamin. He might just shove right here, make it look like ace-king.
Yeah, either way, he can make it 19-7, somewhere around that.
That's probably smarter, better than shipping it. Shipping it might scare the Great Dane out.
I mean, we can see that Gus Hansen has a hand. Just in case Gus Hansen doesn't have a hand, you want to give him enough room where he can make a move, theoretically.
Patrick Antonius intently watching every move David Benjamin's making.
Well, let's be honest, though. Benjamin might be thinking, do I want to trap here? No, he's going to raise.
Raise.
I left it out. There's 4,000 in the middle.
17,700.
He's afraid to get sucked out on.
Gus just about has to push here.
35 more. Exactly.
Gus is going to push here.
Yeah, I would say more times than not.
Yep, there you go.
Raise.
Gus Hansen pushes.
82,700.
Benjamin calls.
It's probably.
We're gonna find out who's talking.
Queens versus the Kings.
Of course I agree. Not of course. Well, I lost last night. They're red.
3, 10.
Jack 10-3, 2 diamonds out there. Benjamin's got the diamond in his hand, so running diamond's not going to help Hansen. He needs a queen and only a queen.
Could be running straight cards. Now that's option is closed.
I got so lucky that hand.
queen and only a queen. Here's the river.
Patrick didn't have the same hand.
Hey.
Nope, 8 of clubs. Everybody on their feet. Benjamin just won $109,000.
There. He just needs to dance anyway.
So what's favorite of the
600 to play.
Not much, buddy.
That's it?
10-9 suited.
Raise to 2,000.
Phil Ivey raise up, 10-8 suited.
9-5 offsuits at 50-50.
How about 7-8?
Call.
Patrick Antonius going to call it the 6-9.
Hey, if you 3-bet the guy with the 3-8 offsuit and he has 2 deuces, your point.
Feldy going to play these, I know that. He's got ace-king.
How he's going to play him, though, I think he's going to 3-bet this.
Yeah, against one opponent, maybe you just smooth call, but you get a raise and then a call. You can make the 3-bet, make it look like a squeeze play, even though you got the goods.
I think he might not be making a very big raise here.
Raise to 9,600.
Well, that's substantial. There's a few more chips than I thought he had in his hand.
Yeah, he's also in position. Obviously, difference if you're going to play the hand post-flop in position or out of position, right?
Absolutely. Big, big difference.
Dwan gives this one up. Matusow gives it up. Ivey's going to give it up as well.
Ivey doesn't like to call a 3-bet when there's another person in the pot because I think he's afraid that he'll draw Patrick Antonius into the pot as well.
You know what? Feldman starting to get a little bit of respect at this table.
For the first time in this whole game.
Starting to get a little bit of respect, and he is up $33,000.
It's not the 33 that's so important. It's the no longer having a big fat negative in front of it.
Yeah, it's about a $200,000 swing for him. He was down about 150. Now he's up 33.
All right, let's do a round of straddles. Our next hand. This way y'all don't think I'm a total wimp. I just feel like I've done 3 days without.
7 of the best at this table.
Raise to 2,200.
Ivey, Antonius, The Mouth, Dwan, Benjamin, Gus Hansen, and how about a pocket kings for the Great Dane?
Cowboys.
2,200. Raise.
Oh, The Mouth is going to 3-bet it.
Oh,
and that's
my
why.
Gosh, 2 queens.
6,200. Let's pass.
Let's just flash back for a second to Mike The Mouth and his queens against Chris Ferguson's aces. But now Gus Hansen's got the kings. Let's see how he plays it.
I think he's going to 4-bet him.
That's what I was going to ask you. If you're out of position now at the kings, how do you play it?
Well, plus Mike's pretty short. I'm definitely 4-betting here.
And then how does Mike play it, though, if he 4-bets it? Well, let's see. The original bet was 2,200 from Gus Hansen.
Raise.
Mike has made it 5,400. Gets back to Gus. And Gus
to 17,700.
is now making it 17-7. 12-3. Back to Matusow. I call.
Call.
Matusow going to call. And Matusow only has 52,000 behind. The pot is 37,000.
Yeah, I think it's unless an ace comes out here, it's going to really be hard to get away from this hand.
Is Matusow playing it cautiously, or is he playing it?
5-4 queen.
Oh, well, Mike.
Oh, my gosh, and that's gin for Mike Matusow.
And well, my question is moot. I was going to ask you, was he playing it cautiously, or was he trapping? And it doesn't make a difference now because he's flop top set, queen 5-4.
I don't think there's any way in the world Gus Hansen can get away from this.
Now, the pot's already 37,000. Mike only has 52 behind.
As far as I'm concerned, Mike, unless he gets real unlucky, is going to double up here. The only way he cannot, I guess, would be if Gus catches a king, because he's going to put the money in. I'd be surprised if they make it past the flop, as far as getting the money in the middle.
It's been really unlucky for Hansen. Hansen picks up queens when Benjamin has kings. Now he picks up kings against Matusow's queens, and he gets out-flopped. Really unfortunate for the Great Dane.
Bet.
One man's fortune is another man's lack of fortune, so to speak.
And it's 20,200.
Hansen bets 20,200.
I'm all in.
Action over to Matusow. Matusow's all in.
Does he have big chips?
Hansen just wants to make sure that he has no big chips behind.
No, he has 50.
And once he knows he has no big chips behind, Hansen calls. And Hansen's not going to like what he sees.
Man, he's really not going to like it.
Oh, and look at this. It's really an unfortunate situation for Hansen.
Queens versus the king show.
140K in this pot. And Gus needs a king, and king only can save him.
I'll tell you, if a king falls, Matusow is going to explode.
Oh, he'll go nuts. He'll pull a Phil Hellmuth. He's liable to throw his chair.
You almost want to see it, don't you?
I hate to say it. I shouldn't say Mike's my friend. No, I'm not going to root for the king. I can't do it to Mike. But I'll tell you what, I bet he's holding his breath right now.
Mike is such a pessimist. He's almost expecting a king. Here it is. No, it's a 7 of spades. Wow. And Mike doubles up. $141,000. And really, really unlucky for the great Dane.
31,800.
Like a donkey for me.
31,000.
And the fans go wild for the dancing donkey.
Well, when are we kicking this game up? Right now. I told you, this cheap poker game's come to an end, man.
Let's take a look at a leaderboard now. Matusow now up 41,000. And Gus Hansen, who was up $100,000, is down 15. He's really done nothing wrong. I mean, he woke up with queens, walked into kings, and then he woke up with kings and walked into a set of queens. Tom Dwan still on top, nearly $200,000 in the black.
That's the brutal part about poker. Sometimes you don't do anything wrong, you play perfect, and you still lose.
Welcome back to the FullTiltPoker.com $1 Million Cash Game. Some players get lucky, some not so much. Gus Hansen, maybe a little bit upset. He was up $100,000. He's going to actually leave down $15,800. And this man has definitely annoyed him. He's got under his skin. Even though he was playing the donkey at himself. I'm not sure if Gus Hansen appreciated it. Gus Hansen's out, and they decided to raise the blinds and the antes. We were playing 300, 600 blinds with a 100 ante. We've jumped it up.
Raised to 3,000.
400, 800 with a $200 ante. How's that going to change the game?
It doesn't sound like that big of an increase, but the extra 100 in the ante is huge.
11.
We raised to 11,000.
Now, every time they put the money in the middle, each pot starts out with $2,400, six-handed.
That's a big jump up, actually. There's only $1,500 in before. Now it's $2,400, and we're six-handed. So it's going to get around really quick. You can't wait for those monsters. Who is this going to favor? Don't say Phil Ivey.
Well, normally I would actually, believe it or not, I would say Tom Dwan, but Tom is playing extremely tight. I think this is going to benefit either Phil Ivey or Patrick Antonius, but the comeback kid, Andrew Feldman, he's playing awful good right now.
There he is.
I'm not really sure why these players agreed six-handed to raise the antes and the blinds when that really has to favor Phil Ivey.
Well, you know, poker players, all poker players have egos. They all think they're the best. Phil Ivey, the original raiser.
35.
Oh, wow, look at this. Look at this move. Phil Ivey raises. Patrick Antonius 3 bets. Back to Phil Ivey. Phil Ivey 4 bets. Both of their hands, very, very mediocre.
Marginal at best.
3,000 from Phil Ivey, 11,000 Antonius, and now Ivey has re-raised to 35,000. This is poker.
Yeah, I don't think Antonius can call here.
Antonius only has 135,000 behind. What if Antonius pushed?
Well, I think he would win this spot right there.
Easier said than done, though, huh?
The mental side of this is like fascinating. Two guys, queen 10, raise, re-raise. Now 4-bet.
Well, this is what happened when you play six-handed. And online, a lot of these players do play 6 max, no limit hold'em. You know, when you're playing 9-handed or 8-handed, you can kind of sit around and you can wait for a big hand. 6-handed, though, the blinds come around so quick. And Antonius is not going to muck this right away. He knows that Ivey is capable of making a re-raise with, you know, a garbage hand.
He certainly does. They've got a lot of history. These two play together quite often.
Patrick playing those black chips. And those black chips are worth $25,000 each. And I don't believe he's Hollywooding here. He's definitely thinking about this one.
He knows that Phil Ivey sometimes makes this raise really light. He knows he's capable of it.
And Patrick gives it up, and Ivey gets the best of him.
If he wins that little 2-1 I'm going to get on him. I'm going to throw him a little party.
That's Barry Mundy at seat number 8. He's our cash game director, and he is going to take away Gus Hansen's chips. Gus Hansen walking away with 84-2, and we are definitely not going to see him back as he hobbles away down $15,800. Normally, if you're playing a stakes this high, losing $15,000 is not that big a deal. But when you were up $100,000 and the way he lost it, that's got to be painful.
Not only was it painful, then he got it kind of rubbed in his face a little bit. I mean, Mike's antics really got to Gus.
Six-handed action on Andrew Feldman. I'm too cool, Feldy. Not going to play.
800.
Benjamin with the 5s.
Raised to 2,400.
Old speed limit. Oh, and looky here, Mike Matusow with a bigger pair, 2 6s.
Cool. Cool.
Ivey's going to call.
2-4 total.
Whoa, wait a minute.
Well, 5s are cheap.
Cool.
I thought that's what David Benjamin had.
Yeah, 5s are cheap. Patrick Antonius with King Jack. He's going to call as well.
A 2-3-4 flop might get us some action here.
9-8 deuce.
How about a 9-8 deuce flop?
Maybe not too much action.
Check.
Well, the interesting thing is that Mike the Mouth has the best of it, but Benjamin, Matusow, and Ivey might all think they're good. It checks around.
4.
Well, if they liked it before, that 4 didn't change anything.
Bet 6,000. Pass.
That's a great bet by Phil Ivey because he doesn't have the best hand, but I think it's going to be hard for Mike Matusow to call with 2 6s.
Really?
2 overcards.
Cool.
Well, he calls, though. The way the betting has gone, doesn't surprise me that it calls.
No.
10.
Well, that could hit Phil Ivey's hand range, but he decides to check it. I doubt we'll see a bet from Mike the Mouth. Got good showdown value here.
Now, the interesting thing is, does Mike think he's ahead or not?
All right.
Okay. No, he's going to check, and he's going to like it.
5s against 6s, and Mike the Mouth is going to win this pot.
You have 5s? Seriously?
I'm sure if you call, I fall.
800 to play.
Tom Dwan is first to act.
Raised to 2,700.
And this is a guy who's really coming to his own.
Pass. Pass.
He's always been a good poker player,
2-7 total.
but now he's just getting more dangerous at all aspects.
Pass.
Anybody know the score of the game?
What game? Oh, the football game.
Cool.
It doesn't start till like 2 in the morning.
What do you like?
I don't know who's
Minnesota's
playing.
playing.
10-8.
Jack 10-8. Yeah, it's an interesting flop for David Benjamin. He's flopped a flush draw. Tom Dwan with an open-ended straight draw.
Check.
And this is a virtual coin flip. Benjamin slightly ahead.
They're getting only 4.5.
Although Dwan actually has the best hand right now with King High.
Sometimes they let the public win like early.
How much you want to bet?
Benjamin with a flush draw and a gut shot. Tom Dwan open-ended.
Whatever the line was.
Bet 5,600.
Well, we know Benjamin's not going to fold. It's the question of, does he check raise here or does he just call?
I think if I were him with a straight draw and a flush draw, I might go ahead and raise this. I mean, stack size-wise, he's got about the right stack where he could play a big pot if he wants to.
I mean, even if he's up against a jack, he might think, you know what? My queen could be good. The 9 hits, I'm good. A spade comes, I'm good. I've got to have a lot of outs even if I am behind.
Yep, I think that's exactly what's processing through David Benjamin's mind right now. I fully expect us to see a raise here. Probably around 15,000 more.
I'm all in.
Oh,
and sure enough,
wow.
Benjamin's all in. It's a huge, massive overbet. And Tom Dwan smells a rat, but you know he's only got King High.
Gamble, pure gamble.
What'd you show him?
5 spades.
The deuce of spades? What
Shows 5
are you
spades.
what are you doing to Donkey Durr?
And the exciting conclusion of the FullTiltPoker.net $1 Million Cash Game is coming to a head.
And David, I just wanted to say, buddy, it's been a pleasure spending this time with you.
800 to play.
Action on Patrick. 800 to play.
Patrick Antonius special, 3-4 of hearts.
He's going to call.
Cool. 800.
Some idiot will fall for it, like me. There's one. There's always an idiot in the room.
Feldman's going to raise this one up.
And I expect to see a defend from Patrick Antonius.
How much? You know what?
It's 4,500 total.
Can I make it 400,000? No, then I fold.
Mike gets out of the way. Over to Ivey. Oh, Ivey's got suited queen 6.
You feel blood?
Mike the Mouth, truly one of the characters of the game, but he's got a lot of talent. It's not just the mouth.
If he could play as good as he talks, he would be the best player ever.
14.
Ho, ho, ho. Coming over the top of Andrew Feldman.
Well, Phil Ivey's playing the final hand.
Show him that 7 deuce.
Show it, Phil. Come on, last time.
Huh?
Show it.
Show the
Show it, show it.
Big hand.
He knows nobody wants to lose a lot of money on the final hand, so he makes a strong 3-bet and he takes it down.
Yeah, I was a little surprised, actually, that Feldman made that raise with such a weak hand.
And Phil Ivey's not our big winner, but as usual, he's probably their most impressive.
Yeah, he played nearly flawless for 3 days. That's hard to do.
And a final look at our big winners in the FullTiltPoker.net $1 Million Cash Game. Tom Dwan up 182,000. Annette Overstad up 139,000. Chris Jesus Ferguson didn't play many hands, but he played enough to win 111,000. Andrew Feldman so impressive as he battled back from adversity to win 23,000. But the man of the moment, congratulations to Elezra, our big winner. He wins $235,000 and the $1 Million Cash Game.
So it is congratulations to Elezra, who has successfully bet, raised and bluffed his way to the top of our final leaderboard. The Israeli has outplayed the world's finest poker players to win his first $1 Million Cash Game title. We've witnessed 3 days of top quality poker, full of highs and lows, twists and turns. We've even seen a dancing donkey. Join us next year when we return for another thrilling series of the FullTiltPoker.com $1 Million Cash Game.